Welcome to another recorded discussion in Assessment and Learning 2. And for this video, you will be learning about formative assessment. Here are the learning outcomes for this topic. You will be able to cite appropriate techniques and tools for formative assessment, both digital and in the traditional. Use appropriate techniques and tools for formative assessment. Explain how scoring rubrics can facilitate formative assessment. And reason out why self-assessment is important in the future of formative assessment. Now, before we discuss different techniques and tools for conducting formative assessment, let us have first this question. Should we grade all formative assessment, or should we include them in the numeric grade of our learner? You may go ahead and pause the video and try to answer, or you may look for literatures that would support your answer. Okay, now, from the word formative assessment, it denotes that assessment for learning. The way you answer this question may differ on the practices you will have on the field. If you understand that a score of 0 out of 10 or 1 out of 10 is an example of in progress outputs, then you may do so and add that column in your e-class record. But it is always a best practice that for those low scores output, we omit them. Hence, since they do not represent in progress development. So hence, the answer to this question will differ on the practice you will have on the field. But it is always best to have a non-graded formative assessment. What are the purpose of those non-graded formative assessment? It is just to ask engagement, facilitate more questioning in a way that your students are safe to raise questions, and so on. Now, here are the different techniques for formative assessment. You may be able to use response cards. Response cards are printed, could also be flashcards, using flashcards. You may use color coding, such as, for example, like green for yes, red for no. For a good example, if you are doing your discussions or you're doing your inputs, you're giving inputs, and you let them raise no if they understood, if they do not understood, and green if they understood. That would give you a cue that you may proceed or you may need to go back and provide more examples. Again, formative assessment does not only limit us to quizzes, to 1/4 sheet of papers, to 1/2 crosswise, and so on. It also involves the verbal communications we have. For example, their hand signals, saying thumbs up if they have understood and thumbs down if they did not. Aside from hand signals, the way they nod is also a good example of formative or techniques of formative assessment. You can see it in their eyes. That's why engagement is very important for formative assessment. Third example of techniques for formative assessment that we can use is the gamified approach. Now, for game-based learning or gamified instruction, it can be given to traditional, or it can also be given to a website-aided tool. But remember that when we use gamified approach, it is inevitable to have a classroom that may bring us to unruly students. What I'm trying to say is that we have to be very proactive with our classroom rules if we provide game-based approach, such as giving them clear instructions and laying out the mechanics for the game. If we are to give them an activity that they need to disarrange the chairs, let it be, because that's the only way they can be engaged. But please do not also limit gamified approach to group outcome or group activity. They can also engage individually, especially for those website-aided gamified tools. Let's say, for example, we have here Socrative method. They can use their cell phones for this type of formative assessments. We also have the Kahoot, in which you can also ask for an objective type of questions or also their preferences. We can also have the Quizless or Quizlet rather. So here there are materials that are available already in the website, and then you can just improve it based on your learning outcomes. Another good example is the quizzes. Now, Quizlet and quizzes actually share the same interface and the same purpose of gamified learning. However, quizzes is already called Wayground nowadays. And we have Nearpad. Nearpad and Kahoot share the same characteristic. It's just that for Nearpad, there involves a actually Kahoot is also a paid one, but there are a lot of free templates that we can use. For Nearpad, sometimes there are only few free templates that we can utilize, but you can still utilize this one. And we have Padlet. Padlet is another website in which your a gamified, for example, quiz can be administered to gamified learning using video. And we have the Quizalize. Quizlet, Quizzes, which is now Wayground, and Quizalize share the same interface. When I say interface, they share the same purpose of the website or the usefulness. Now, with these different websites we have in the internet, it is always best to recheck whether those outputs or whether those materials really reflect what we want our learners to understand. The word formative assessment means that they can still improve their learning, they can still develop what they have understood. Hence, it is not just to give some sort of adrenaline when they engage, but also to provide more learning on the achievement of our learning competency and even to the learning outcome specifically. In short, it is our responsibility, educators, to check the material that we provide to them. Anyone can log in as a teacher, but not everyone can check the material. And that is our job. Now, self assessment informative assessment is very important. We do not hold 60 students in a classroom, talk to them every time. But our strategy would lead them to self assess themselves whether they have understood the topic or not. It is actually the initiative of the learner to understand the topic rather than getting inputs from the teacher. So, how do we motivate our learners to check whether they have understood? A good example would be AKWL strategy, or knowing, listing down what they have learned, and then what they know first, what they want to learn, and what they have learned at the end of the topic. In a way that, though it is subjective to check, it is an additional, it is indeed an additional task for them, for us teachers to check these outputs. But doing so would lead us to understand that whether the student were able to understand the outcome or were able to achieve the outcome. There, in that simple table of what they have learned, what they expect to learn, and what they learn first, would give us an idea whether the student really have understood the topic. Scoring rubrics and formative assessment also share the same, they should coexist. When I say they should coexist, when we give a formative assessment, which is activity based in nature, we should provide what are the criteria and the level of performance we want them to achieve. Hence, this is like giving us an idea of what feedback are we going to give to them at the end of the activity or formative. Remember that our feedback should be constructive as possible, since not all students know how to, what we call this, process the comments individually. When we give feedback, let us not specifically point out the person, but point out the improvements that the person needs to do. Take note that for a fast paced activity, we can use holistic rubric, but for those projects which they can still improve, not just in the classroom, we can use analytic rubric. A good example of this is the academic paper or the research paper they have. But for those activity that they will do, especially for gamified activity that they will do inside the classroom, we can use holistic rubric for that. If it is not an objective type of activity. Now, here are other traditional formative activities that we can also apply. This is if without the help of internet connection. Let's admit it, not all classrooms in the Philippines has TV, television, and a good internet connection. However, we can switch to traditional way. We have the round robin charts. We also have the questioning strategies. The art of questioning we have would also reflect on the achievement of the learning. And the three-way summaries, we have the think, pair, and share, the 3 to 1 countdown, and the 1 minute paper. And those are others that are not discussed in this video. You may innovate, you may create your own formative assessment so long that you can provide feedback, you can give exact, you can check the learning outcome, you can check the learning progress, whether they have achieved or they were not able to understand your output or your outcome. Remember that doing formative assessment is checking for assessment for learning or giving activities assessment for learning. And I think that would be it for this topic. Thank you so much, everyone.